Hello, fellow followers. Welcome back to Fanzine. Greg here, and today I have for you. I watched David Lynch's Blue Velvet for the first time. As a huge David Lynch fan, I'm embarrassed to say that I had never actually seen Blue Velvet before. Excuse me. And I've been on a bit of a David Lynch kick here on my channel. If you haven't noticed here lately, I just have. It's just something about his movies that I'm being drawn to at this moment in time. And one of my favorite things to do is when I buy physical media, I actually watch my physical media, and I do like to talk about the movies. I don't get to do a whole lot of these videos because they're not usually watched a lot, but I do like to try and do them when I can and give my thoughts on a movie, especially like Blue Velvet, which I had never seen before because some people, they will say it's an old movie, but it was a new movie to me because I had never seen it. But like I said, it's written and directed by David Lynch, and this is the 4K from Criterion that I picked up from Barnes & Noble. It's written and directed by David Lynch. It stars Kyle MacLachlan. It stars Laura Dern. It stars Dennis Hopper and Isabella Rossellini. This movie is all kinds of just like David Lynch goodness. I really enjoyed it right off the bat. I will say I really enjoyed this movie. I would still have to say Lost Highway, Mulholland Drive are my two favorite David Lynch movies that I've ever seen. But I really enjoyed this one, and seeing you could totally see where David Lynch was going to go with his movies, because after Dune, this movie came out after Dune and everything. He sort of went back to his roots, and it stars Kyle MacLachlan, like I said, as Jeffrey Beaumont, whose father just recently had a heart attack, and he's come home from college. He's a college student. He's coming home to take care of his dad's hardware store in a small town of Lumberton. It's like this small, idyllic, everyday America type town. And, visiting his dad in the hospital, he's walking through this field, and he finds this ear on the ground. And it's like really weird. So he picks it up, he puts it back, he takes it to the police station, he brings it to this detective, and they look into it and tell him, yep, it's a human ear. They'll look into it and everything. And, this finding this human ear really brings something up inside of him, right? And so he bumps into the detective's daughter, played by Laura Dern, who starts filling him in on a little bit of the case of what they think it goes to, where this ear comes from and everything, and about this lounge singer, played by Isabella Rossellini, whose name is Dorothy. And so this like piques Kyle MacLachlan's character's interest, and he starts investigating this woman and this ear in the case. And he like falls in love with Laura Dern's character, and in the process of snooping on Isabella Rossellini's character, this like a weird or strangely erotic thing between them starts happening. And he also finds out that Dennis Hopper, who plays Frank Booth, is this crazy, who absolutely steals the movie, by the way. He's this absolutely insane guy who has a little bit of spoilers here, who has kidnapped Isabella Rossellini's husband and child, and is forcing her to do things with him of a sexual nature, I should say. That's really, really creepy. And he's got like this like oxygen mask that I mean, like Dennis Hopper goes for it in this movie. He steals it, and like this mystery of craziness unfolds with how Kyle MacLachlan, who is not even this like real detective, everything, but he's like sort of an amateur sleuth in this movie, because it just fascinates him. And he goes from this idyllic Lumberton town, which is called Lumberton, and like because like with Laura Dern's character and everything, she's like 18, she's in high school, and it's like this very idyllic. She's this chick in high school, sort of popular and everything, and it's very small, simple, rural America. It takes place in the past, right? And it's like, and then like the underneath this quiet, normal, like old school 50s, like 50s, 60s type town, is this darkness with Frank Booth and Isabella Rossellini, and like an underworld of kidnapping and eroticism and just insanity in this. And it's got this great supporting cast with Jack Nance, who's a frequent collaborator with David Lynch, who was in Eraserhead. Brad Dourif makes an appearance in this. Dean Stockwell from Quantum Leap, who played Al, is in this, and it's a really creepy, like he's like this really weird dude in this movie. Like it's David Lynch. It's very David Lynch, and like Dennis Hopper said, it's like American surrealism is what David Lynch brings to you. So it's this really great, fascinating story that really draws you in and everything. And I really enjoyed it, and it's something I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did, because sometimes once you've hear about a movie so much and you've never seen it, and it's somebody you know and like of movies, and sometimes when you see some of their earlier work like that you maybe have missed, that people have talked up, you kind of like, maybe that was it. But I enjoyed it. I would, like I said, I still think Lost Highway and Mulholland Drive are my favorites, but the story behind this movie is really fascinating, incredible, because, like I mentioned, Dune, the same producer, Dino Laurinaitis, who he had a big thing with on Dune, actually let him do this and have final cut on this. And if you're a Twin Peaks fan, which is funny because, like, if you're a Twin Peaks fan, you can totally see where Twin Peaks come from, because this town of Lumberton is very similar to Twin Peaks. It's got a lumber yard, and there's even this diner called Arlene's Diner in this small town that Kyle MacLachlan and Laura Dern's character often visits. And there's a truck with wood on the, logs on the back driving by constantly, just like the RR Diner and Twin Peaks. When you see the truck go by, it's a lumber town, same everything like that. Arlene's Diner, RR double R Diner, it's very similar, and you can really see where probably this is like Twin Peaks before Twin Peaks. You throw in David Lynch and then Mark Frost, and you get this movie, and Mark Frost is ideal, and you get Twin Peaks. So that's pretty much where this came from, and I was really great to see this. This is really a really great 4K from Criterion. I'll show off the disc a little bit for you guys, and that's Isabella Rossellini's apartment, and the sparrows, the robins, and just the whole thing with this. It's like, you can even see, like, with this and everything, it's very David Lynch, and even like with Twin Peaks and everything. And then of course you open it up, you get the 4K and the Blu-ray, and you get a cool little booklet here. This movie is just insane. It's like an old school, just like this really weird look at small town life, these small beautiful towns that maybe there's a darkness underneath of it, but in the end, it's sort of, not to spoil anything, it sort of has a decent ending, for everybody involved, which is something that doesn't typically happen in a lot of the later David Lynch movies. But if you've never seen Blue Velvet, I do recommend Blue Velvet. It's a really good movie. It's you have to be a bit of a fan of David Lynch and like old school like noir, because it's a bit of like a noir, I should say, not noir, like David Lynch noir. He has his own like noir versions of films, because it's very noir, it's very like sleuthy, and you can totally see that Kyle MacLachlan is essentially David Lynch's stand-in. In this movie and in Twin Peaks, he is playing David Lynch's ideal version, because it's funny, because you hear people talk about David Lynch, especially in like the special features on this, which I love. It's like he's this very normal person when they like work with him and everything. He's like these very sort of like a bit of a nerdy type, happy go lucky guy, but underneath of him, he's got this darkness. He sees this surrealism darkness and art and everything. You can really tell he's fascinated with dreams and art and surrealism, which he tried to make movies that were like dreams of a painting, that he saw on film, and that was a burgeoning there. You could see it coming out, and if you've never seen Blue Velvet, give it a watch. If you're a David Lynch fan, or if you've never heard of it, I recommend it. I'm pretty sure it's on DVD and Blu-ray. I know, like I've always said, you don't have to go 4K if you don't want to go 4K. It's on Blu-ray, it's on DVD, or VHS, whatever you like it. But let me know your guys' thoughts and comments about this in the comment section down below. Have you ever seen Blue Velvet? Have I inspired you to watch Blue Velvet? What are some of your Criterion pickups if you did the sale that you picked up from Barnes & Nobles? And if you liked what you saw here, maybe consider hitting that like button or subscribing, hitting that bell for notifications. That'd be awesome if you're in your guys' subscriptions. Or possibly share the video out for everybody to see, or join and become a channel member, because that would help out my channel immensely. Thank you, and shout out to all my channel members. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you guys for being channel members here and for all of your support. And to everybody watching, whether you like me, hated me, or like this video, or hated this video, I thank you for sticking this long. Wherever you all are, please have a great, safe, happy, healthy day, morning, afternoon, evening, and night. Always support physical media, because it truly is the superior format now more than ever. Godspeed.